I choose you. Not because you are easy to love, but because you are the one person who makes the darkness inside me feel alive. I have spent years building walls around my heart, teaching myself never to need anyone, never to trust anyone, never to let anyone become important enough to hurt me. Then you came into my life and ruined every rule I had made. Now I find myself wanting things I was never supposed to want. Your presence beside me, your voice in the quiet, your eyes searching for mine when the whole world feels against you. I don't want a perfect love with you. I want something dangerous, something so deep that neither of us can pretend it doesn't exist. I want the kind of bond that survives storms, secrets, jealousy, and every shadow that follows us. If the world tells you to run from me, let it. They don't know what I feel when I look at you. They don't know how fiercely my heart has chosen you. And perhaps that is the most frightening part. You are no longer someone I can simply walk away from. I choose you when you're smiling, and I choose you when you're falling apart. I choose you when you are angry with me, when you refuse to speak, when you look at me like I'm the last person you should trust. I will never ask you to be flawless for me. I want the real you, the beautiful parts, the broken parts, and every secret you hide behind that silence. But understand one thing, once you become mine in my heart, I don't know how to love halfway. You became my weakness without ever asking for that power. Now every threat against you feels personal. Every tear in your eyes feels like an insult to the part of me that promised you would never face the darkness alone. I know my love can be intense. I know there is something possessive in the way I look at you. But beneath all of it is one simple truth. I would rather stand beside you in the darkest night than live in a perfect palace without you. So if you ask me what I want, I won't give you a beautiful lie. I want you. Not as a prize, not as an obligation, and not because a crown demands it. I want you because my heart made the choice before my mind could stop it. And even if choosing you costs me everything I've built, I will still make the same choice. You, always you. Because when the entire world disappears behind the darkness, you're the only person I still see. And if loving you is the one decision that could destroy the prince I was, then perhaps I was never meant to remain that prince. I used to believe a prince was supposed to have control over everything, his kingdom, his emotions, his future, even his heart. Then you appeared, and suddenly none of those rules mattered. You became the one thought I couldn't command away, the one name that stayed in my mind long after the palace went silent. I could stand before thousands without fear, but one look from you can make every carefully built wall inside me collapse. And perhaps that's why I fear losing you, more than I fear losing my crown. There are nights when I wonder what would happen if you walked away from me. I imagine the palace becoming unbearably quiet, your footsteps disappearing from the halls, your voice becoming nothing but a memory. I hate that thought. I hate how easily you became part of everything I am. But I would never force you to stay. If you ever choose to leave, I will let you go, even if it destroys me, because my love for you was never supposed to become your prison. Still, don't mistake my silence for weakness. If someone tries to hurt you, I will stand between you and the darkness without hesitation. I don't need to threaten the world to prove what you mean to me. I only need to be there when you need someone. Let everyone else misunderstand me. Let them call me cold, ruthless, or impossible to love. You know the truth behind the crown. The man who becomes unbearably soft whenever you are near. I choose you even when loving you becomes difficult. Especially then. When everything feels broken, when we misunderstand each other, when anger stands between us, I will still remember why I stayed. I don't want a love that disappears the moment life becomes complicated. I want the kind of love that looks at the darkness and says, we will survive this too. And if someday you ask me why I chose you, when there were countless others who would have gladly stood beside a prince, my answer will remain the same. Because none of them were you. None of them made my heart forget its own rules. None of them made me want to put down the crown and simply become a man who could hold the person he loved. So come closer, my love. Not because I command you, but because you know where you belong when the world becomes too loud. Stand beside me by your own choice. Let me see the parts of you that you hide from everyone else. And I promise you this much. Whatever darkness waits beyond these palace walls, you will never have to face it alone while I am still standing. I never planned to love you this deeply. In the beginning, I thought you were simply someone who caught my attention for a moment. Someone I would eventually forget when duty called me back to the throne. But you stayed. Somehow, you slipped into every quiet corner of my mind until even the silence reminded me of you. Now I can walk through a crowded room and still feel as though I am searching for only one person. You. There is something dangerous about loving someone enough to make them your greatest fear. You became mine. Not because I fear you, but because I fear a world without you in it. I can face betrayal, political games, enemies, and every shadow hiding behind these palace walls. But the thought of watching you disappear from my life terrifies me in a way nothing else ever has. You are the one thing I cannot replace. Sometimes I look at you and wonder if you understand what you've done to me. You made a man who never needed anyone start waiting for your messages. You made a prince who never showed weakness care about whether you had eaten, whether you were sleeping peacefully, whether something was troubling your heart. I find myself remembering the smallest things you say, even when you probably forget them minutes later. That's how completely you've taken over my thoughts. And yes, there is a darker side to my love. I become jealous. I become protective. I notice every person who looks at you for too long, every voice that makes you uncomfortable, every moment when someone makes you doubt your worth. But I will never confuse love with ownership. You are not something I possess. You are someone I choose, and someone who must choose me freely every single day. If you ever stand before me and tell me that you no longer love me, I will have to accept it, even if my heart refuses to understand. I would rather suffer from your honest goodbye than keep you beside me through fear. Because loving you means wanting your happiness, even when it hurts me. That's the part of my love I don't often admit. So tonight, with no crown between us and no kingdom listening, I want you to remember one thing. I choose you when the palace is bright, and I choose you when everything turns dark. I choose you when you're strong, and I choose you when you don't know how to keep going. I choose you when you believe you are difficult to love. I choose you because, somehow, my heart recognized you long before I was brave enough to admit it. And if tomorrow gives me another 1,000 choices, I already know which one I will make. I will still choose you.